best book I've ever read. In the weeks and maybe the months after the breakdown of my own avoidant relationship, I found it very difficult when people told me to be compassionate. But when I finally learned that the compassion was for me and that sympathy was from a place of security and self-love, my healing process accelerated exponentially, honestly. Are you struggling with compassion for your avoidant? Are you too busy hating and ruminating about the terrible things they did to you? Are you struggling to let it go? Brian Keenan and his compassion for his captors. A few people have asked me for book recommendations on avoidant and narcissistic relationship recovery, and I'm putting together that list this week, so keep an eye out for it. But it got me to thinking about the favorite books I've ever read and how they could be framed as lessons for this process of relationship recovery, on how to recover and rebuild your emotional self better, on how to continue to be compassionate and kind, and the post that I made yesterday on being willing to give your love, especially when you're not receiving it. An Evil Cradling is the remarkable and deeply moving story of Brian Keenan. He is a journalist who was kidnapped by fundamentalists in 1986 and held until 1990. I can't even say what happened to him here on TikTok. And I'm not going to give you a book review. There are better people than me to do that. But it's a recommendation. And more than that, it's about the clearest message of compassion I can share. If you'll forgive me for being a little bit dramatic, but you know me by now. Keenan is famous, of course, for this terrible episode of his life, but what he's really known for is what was coined as superhuman empathy about his captors, which comes across as pure compassion and love in this beautifully written book. When I tell you to try facing these avoidant people's apparently cruel behavior with compassion, he is the exemplar for what I mean. He made a choice in the middle of the worst situation imaginable to be compassionate, even during that 4-year episode. So please don't hate these avoidant people. Love and heal yourself into feeling indifferent. And until you get to that point, use sympathy. An avoidant is a horrible thing to deal with, but it's a much worse thing to be. Read the book if you like. Embrace compassion as you heal. It's like a secret shortcut to letting go. Big hug.